the election just happened. It took about what, a week, and we
Yeah,
Yep, a few days.
finally we finally got the results today. Right, today is Friday the 13th.
yeah. Fucking
The
coincidence, right?
last
Mm-hmm.
two, the last two states were confirmed. North
Yeah,
Carolina went to Trump. Georgia went to
Biden.
Biden.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a surprise. Honestly, that was a shock to me. I
Yeah.
didn't think.
That was the
I
first time in 28 elections or some craziness. 28 years.
Yeah, it's some ridiculous number
Yeah.
like that. Just like Nevada, or I mean, Arizona. Arizona went to Biden, and that was the first time since like '96 when Clinton
Mm-hmm.
was elected. So that was a big shocker for most people too.
And I saw a statistic that said part of Arizona flipping was actually some Native American and Indigenous people votes that
For
kind of
Mm-hmm.
sure.
tipped the scales in Arizona
It
that
it
were
was some
towards Biden, away from Trump.
it was something like 77% natives actually came out to vote. It was like
Damn.
some
Yeah,
ridiculous number. Yeah.
and the article I'd seen was tying into that they're having a bad time right now with COVID, that they're like extra susceptible. They're like
Mm,
one of the highly one of the communities that's highly affected, but they still came out in like droves.
hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, they wanted this guy out of the office. They
Yeah.
hated they hated this guy so bad that they were willing to risk getting COVID to kick this guy out.
Yep.
Shit.
Yeah, and it was, I think, like, I don't have the numbers on this, but he approved a bunch of pipelines, right? That kind of fucked a lot of their lands up,
Well, that was like North Dakota though, right? Wasn't it
right?
Yeah,
North
that's
Dakota?
it. It was Native Americans, different Native Americans, but yeah,
Yeah.
Native American ancestral burial grounds, stuff like that. And then
Right.
actually
You mean
the
they're not all Indians?
They're all like
Just kidding,
I
just
was like, what?
kidding.
Different dialect. Come on.
but
Well, do you think that's the reason why I was about to say Hitler? Do you think that's the reason why Trump came in and just swooped these people off their feet?
I don't know, man. It's a tough, complex one on that one. I think where people are like naturally racist in a way, right? Like they discriminate naturally. I mean, we've all done some type of discrimination. You know, we come from Visalia, right? There's di- there's discrimination all around. So you know, we base our we're products of our environment at the end of the day, right? But it's not until it's not until it's not until you freaking go out of your own realm, you make friends that are different ethnicities or different cultures or anything like that,
Mm,
you get to see a light of maybe what you perceived as what part of the discrimination you grew up with or you viewed as part of the world wasn't maybe
mm.
as correct as it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facilia.
Dude, I mean, there's
Yeah,
a lot
no,
of
no.
discrimination in
There's a hell of
Vasily. What are you gonna
discrimination
do?
in Visalia.
Yeah.
And the discrimination in Visalia is not just like whites versus minorities, or it's also like other people of color versus each other.
Yeah,
yeah,
Asians
minorities
versus
versus
Mexicans.
minorities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my first experience with racism in Visalia was when these Mexican kids called me Chino as I was walking by their house. And I was like, "What's a Chino?" And they're like, "Oh, a Chinese." I was like, "I'm not even Chinese," and I'm like 5 years old trying to comprehend what a Chinese person is, because I don't know what the fuck Chinese people are. Is it like chow mein fried rice? I make chow mein and fried rice, and and when I think when Trump came along, I started experiencing a little bit more racism or prejudice with white people, because before it used to be like microaggressions, where it's just like some things here and there, but it was whatever. But after 2005 and on, it became like full blown on aggressions. Like, I have one time a lady said to me, um, "I'm glad you can speak English and welcome back to this country," and threw a menu at me because she was trying to ask a question and I didn't know what she was saying. To her benefit, I was super hungover, so I couldn't answer her question anyways.
Where was this at?
This was in San Francisco in
Wow,
2015. Um, but I've
crazy.
also experienced a bunch of other stuff where I've been called a chink or a gook in the middle of the street, and it's kind of happened more. In this year, I was called a zipperhead and a gook and a Chinese virus in the bathroom of 24 Hour Fitness in Koreatown. I think in February when the virus first happened. So there's been an explosion of
Dude,
racism.
Crazy.
And that's the thing. I think with with Trump as president, it kind of made things worse. Or
Oh yeah,
kinda,
the racists came out. The racists came out in droves. They're always there. They're just secretly hiding in their basements. But as soon as Trump got office, it just emboldened them. They just started coming out and being blatant about it because their president's racist. So why can't they be racist too?
it gave them an avenue to explore a certain side of themselves that they couldn't as when we had a black man as a president for 8 years.
Yeah,
You know?
they definitely were emboldened for sure, and they became very bold. They
Mhm.
became very, uh, vo- like verbal about how they felt. Maybe they've always felt this way, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you never know. But I think for them, he picked a part of this of people that have always probably existed, part of their lives,
Mhm.
in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, it's like maybe you could cut this part out and put the Dave Chappelle.
White power! America's at war with Al Qaeda, but we're still losing the war against Al Sharpton. Let's talk about Chinese people with their kung fu and all that silly chang chang chong talk. Open up your heart and let that hate out. Be afraid.
Part where
Hate.
where you go, hey, you got hate in your heart, let it out. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, dude, it's
Chain,
crazy, bro.
chain,
Yeah.
chain, patty whack. I can't understand you. Go back to your country.
Catalina Rice sounds like.
Yeah, dude.
And asked why he left his wife of 27 years. He said because
She was an inward lover. Yeah, dude, it's
I
ridiculous.
can say that.
I think it's one of those things where you have to, you know, you have you have to view it from a different perspective. Like it's one honestly, the United States was built like the majority was built on racism, right? Like the founding fathers discriminated against natives, discriminated against other Europeans when they were coming. So there was always discrimination coming from
Mhm.
all aspects, right? So you have to always think about that part. And we didn't abolish slavery till just 60 years ago or whatnot. Or no, wait, how long was slavery abolished ago? My bad. I'm talking about Jim Crow. My
Jim
bad.
Crow. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was thinking about Jim Crow. I was thinking about Jim Crow.
I was like, I don't think there were cars in Roots, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Thinking about it's a recent thing, right?
Civil rights.
Yeah, civil rights.
Yeah. Yeah, so the whole Jim Crow thing didn't get abolished so recently. So you have to think about it, it's still fresh, dude. Like
Yeah.
it's still very recent in our time.
Well, women were only allowed to vote 80 years ago. That started 80 years ago, right? 1920s.
Yeah, 1920s.
Yeah, 1920s. So women weren't. Black people had 3/5 of a vote, where women had no votes. You know.
Yeah, women has always had it tough for sure. They've always
Yeah.
had it tough.
Whoa,
They always
whoa,
had it
whoa.
tough, dude.
Hold on. Let's clarify that real quick. Let's rewind.
Go ahead.
Go
Rewind
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Okay. The
You want to get your wife in this suit?
Yeah, right.
a slave was counted as 3/5 of a person.
Yeah.
So a landowner votes counted more. It's not like a slave got to go vote.
Yeah.
They're counted as
3/5
3/5 of a
per
person for like
person.
yes.
So were women counted as a person, or no, or just property?
No.
No.
Yeah, just it was property. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it increased their like standings.
They were better
As
viewed in society.
Yeah, they weren't
Yeah.
black.
They weren't black.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
weren't black. Yeah. What were we talking about?
The women's movement.
Women's movement. Yeah. So, and
change
shockingly,
the subject.
shockingly, a lot of women did also vote for Trump.
Yeah, that was a shocker to
Yeah.
me, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Hey man, maybe they wanted to be grabbed by their pussies, man.
Dude, that shit was so crazy. Like,
that was wild, dude. When that shit came out.
You had this president who's been sued by multiple women, who's
26
who
sexual assault allegations,
who had a court case in Florida in 2016 where him and Jeffrey Epstein were accused of sexual molesting a 15 and 14-year-old girl, and
They did that shit.
if you read the court documents, it's fucking horrible, man. You read the court documents, and obviously that case got dropped because of a clerk error. It got moved to California. That got dropped too because of something else, and then it tried going through again in New York, but then eventually was this not the suspect, the
Trump's lawyers.
Basically, it got dropped 3
lawyers,
times, and you had this guy who committed all these acts with documents, him on camera saying that he wants to fuck his daughter, him on mic saying he grabbed girls by the pussy, and just they still voted for him. They didn't believe he said it. They thought he was playing around. But even if you're playing around and all these women accuse you, it's like, do you really want this person as your president? But they still voted for him. I believe the majority of the women who did vote for him were huge. They were really involved with the religious sector.
Mm. So, it could have been a religious aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's their second coming. He's like the next best thing. He's like Jesus Christ on crack.
Evangelics or what?
Yeah, evangelicals eating him up, man. We gotta pray for President Trump. He's for us.
They took our jobs.
Dude, there is a funny interview with what's the guy Jordan Keller, who interviewed this guy who was a priest or pastor or something.
Yeah, but he didn't do all that. Or
he didn't mean it.
Yeah.
He probably said, he was an adulterer 3 times over, broke his marital, bonds in extramarital affairs over and over and over again. And even his current wife, he cheated on with a porn star that he paid $150,000 to nut in, and for him to get spanked with a Time magazine with his face on it.
Is that what happened?
Real stand-up guy.
Wait, is that what happened?
Yeah, it's in court. Yeah, that's verifiable.
Let's go.
Because Michael Cohen tried to bring action against her and her lawyers, saying that they were making it up, and they pulled out, bank statements, and everything was put on blast.
Oh yeah, this is
exactly what happened.
This is the court case where was it
Bill
Barr or something? Bill Barr, Michael Barr, Mr. Barr.
Bill Barr is the AG. Michael.
Yeah, sorry.
Trump. So
I heard that Bill Barr tried to replace Trump with the DOJ, and then the judge was like, no, right? This is different. See, this is a different court case. I'm getting so confused. It was the reporter who claimed that Trump sexually molested her, and then tried to defame her, and then so Bill Barr tried to replace or substitute Trump with the DOJ, but then a federal judge was like, no. And one or two accusations, I don't know, no evidence, maybe. But when all these women came out and accused him of doing a certain thing, maybe he did it, And
26, bro. I mean, one of them has to be telling the truth, right?
I mean, he even said he wanted to fuck his daughter, dude. That was the crazy part.
Not including the cases that probably got dismissed or that never even got on the record, right? Because they took the payout or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dude, I honestly think he was hell involved with that Epstein, all the stuff that he was doing.
He wasn't on the flight log, so.
Oh, he wasn't?
He wasn't on the flight log, so he never did anything with him. According to, Trumpism. He wasn't on the flight logs, and it doesn't count. Because
how about if he was on his own plane, though, bro?
He has his own plane. He has his own hotel.
No, he's not on his. He's not, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend that could get those girls delivered to, Trump Tower. That's out of the realm of possibility. That would never happen. He won't have to leave the state of New York for that to happen.